Everyone were like, you got this much mark. Why? It was not very low. It was not very low and all. It was around 89% something. But they were like, you have the capability of getting 90%. Why didn't you get 90%? So now they start branding us in such a way. It has become, and the comparison that comes up with that, they got this mark, they got this mark, why didn't you get? So the type of comparison that we had to go through, it kind of suppresses us. So why must we stress so much on that mark?
Tell me a little bit about yourself, your journey till here.
Basically, I was not born in Chennai. So I am from a place called Kanyakumari, so the tip of India. So I'm from that place, a small town there actually. So I did my 10th grade there. So I used to go for all these competitions and all in school. I used to participate in all these debate competitions, all these essay competitions and all. So that made me uh, choose the literature side. And then we shifted here to Chennai for my 11th and 12th. So, and that's when uh, I came in, no, I was part of Involve in my 11th grade. When I was in my 9th grade, and I was, searching for opportunities outside science stream. So I didn't want to take science. Uh, so I was like hoping to go into the literature side. So when I was searching for all that, I found this course in IIT Madras. So a course named Humanities and Social Sciences. So it's a 5-year program there. So I was really fascinated about that, and I wanted to prepare for that.
Okay, we'll talk going forward about it. The next thing which I wanted to know was that, I mean, we all know that the COVID thing is still there and we are stuck in our home. So how are you spending your day? What all things did you start doing?
When the lockdown first started, I was still in my 12th grade. So the exams were not over during that time. They didn't inform anything about the pending exams. So our exams were, you know, postponed midway. So we had 1 or 2 subjects left. And also I was preparing for this entrance exam. So they were both things. So I didn't get a lot of free time in the initial stages. So my exam was in the last week of September. So I was pretty packed up till that. And after that, I started like, I play the violin. So I started, but I left that in my 11th and 12th. So I didn't touch my violin in my 11th and 12th. So I got back to that habit. And the usual cooking and all those works at home. I started helping my mom. She's working, so I had to help her.
So you talked about this exam, and I also got to know that usually there are just 52 seats all over, all across India, and you were one of the person who got into it. So I mean that was quite an amazing news for every one of us at Involved, because when Samyak told us about this event, everyone was very happy that one of our student leader got into it. So we'll talk about your experience teaching students as well, but just for a little context setting. So you were in the program, in our program where you were teaching which grade and how many students?
I actually teach 6th grade students during that time. I used
You
to teach around 10 students.
Okay. You were in this program for one complete year. So how was your experience? I want to start with the time where why did you join?
So initially, when I came here to Chennai, I didn't get the space I needed. So what I did was I attended everything. Like I wanted people to know who I am. So I was part of, like, I started become going to everything, exploring everything. That's how I ended up in the orientation session also. It was different. It was not like you know a lecture session or something like that. It was different. I thought, like, okay, why don't we give it a try? So that's how I got involved.
It's like a position of responsibility for you, right? Because you are in charge, you're a teacher, so you are in charge of those students. You're supposed to kind of deliver the lessons. You also need to kind of manage the whole class along with, the things which were going with you, like your own studies. In the whole journey, 1 year journey of you being a part of the young student leadership program, uh, what change you saw happening in yourself?
So as you said, I got this responsibility of teaching other students. So it was like I was responsible for them, the students, their learning and everything. So I didn't feel it like a burden because I like doing it. I like teaching them. So that's when I understood the bond that I had created with these students, and I was able to emphasize, uh, empathize on their problems. So I was in a position where I could tell them what to do and tell them what not to do. So I was in that kind of a position then. So that really made me really responsible. I became more responsible after that, and teaching students. You can't go there unprepared and talk to the students in a way. You have to put on some effort the before day so that you could go and present something in front of them. So I got into this habit of planning because I'll have my school portions also. I'll have as you said, I'll have my tuition also, and I had to put some time for this, for teaching students the next day. So I was able to prioritize things after that. That really helped me in my preparation also. I was able to prioritize things and take one thing at a time, um, because of teaching students. That I really owe to this.
Okay, interesting. So you spoke about prioritization, which I think is really important. So what other things did you learn?
So we have these sessions at the end of the week with our mentor. So during those times, we used to have all these small group activities, and all these small tasks we were put into groups and we were told to perform in groups. With that, I was able to work well in groups. That is one thing. I was able to listen to what others have to say first, and I was able to put my opinions at the right places. Telling their opinion at a time when no one is going to listen to you, or when all others are giving their opinions and you put on one there, it's not going to matter. So putting your opinions and uh, what is it, in places where people will listen to you, or at instances where it matters. I learned that from all these sessions, and working well in groups. That is another main thing, because in the next levels that we are going to be, mostly we'll be working in groups. So if we have our thoughts, but if we are not able to communicate it well in a group, it is not going to matter how much ever capacity that you have. If you are not able to communicate that well to others, or if they are not able to comprehend, if they comprehend yours in a different way than what it actually is, so it won't make an impact. So what to speak and how to convey that in a group. So that is something that I learned from all these sessions.
And how was your experience being a teacher for 1 year? I would say.
That was a responsibility. So I've seen my mom teaching. So my mom is a teacher. She's a professor. So I've seen her teaching, and I used to be like, why are you putting in so much effort? No, the student mentality is that we listen to half of the matter, we don't listen to half of the rest of that. So I used to tell her, why are you putting in so much efforts? Teach them something, they'll grasp something and they'll write. Why should you worry this much? So she'll be like, she told me this, that uh, no matter like what they are going to take in, so, no, it's your conscience on what you are doing, that is important. So I felt that one. So no, that the students, they used to listen to us, they used to, grasp things from us, because the age gap was very less. The students in our age gap was very less, so they used to listen to us. uh, but it was a responsibility. We were responsible for them, and they, and they relied on us. So keeping up that thing was a responsibility for us.
Great. Um, yeah. And can you share maybe one or two instances of experiences which you still remember?
So it was, they had their exams. So the students, they had their exams during that time. So many of them were reluctant to come to these classes, because they were like, Akka, we have exams tomorrow, we have to study for that. So how can we come for these classes? So that's when we told them, you come to these classes, we'll teach you how to go about. It was max, I guess. It was the max test the next day. We'll tell you how to go about with the problems. You'll be able to do it. We told them that. So they trusted us and they came to the class. So everyone were there, and you know we would have learned something in a simpler way when we were there in our school days. So some things would have stuck with us, some methods, or some things would have stuck with us. So we taught them some simple methods, and they grasped that. And many of them, they returned to us. So there was no class the next day, but they came to our class. They told us, Akka, we did these problems well. We did these well because you told us how to do it. Thank you so much. They told us, they came and told us that they were able to do that well because we taught them in such a way. So that is one thing I remember. And another thing is that they still come to us. So that was over in our 11th itself. So I've completed my 12th now. So even now, when they see us somewhere, or when we were in our 12th, when they see us in the corridors and all, they used to come to us and they used to ask us, how are you? How is it going? And all that. So I think we've created that bond with them. The bond that, and it is, it is very special because we are not going to get an opportunity like this again. So the thing that they still remember us and they still come back to us and talk to us, it's really special.
I think, you might not be knowing. So when we actually were thinking of starting Involve, in 2016 it was, we did a small 1.5 months pilot in Delhi, and it was 2016. So even now we are connected to a couple of our students who we're teaching, and then they still tell us that they still have students whose parents call them up if that particular student is not studying, and his or her parent call them up and they ask me to kind of talk to them for a minute or so that I can convince them. So I think the bond which is
That,
developed just because of that age gap is really why this whole is the magic of this whole peer teaching part, because you're not being taught by someone who's very much older than you, so they would really be able to understand how would you understand, and they would be able to
also, we
teach
will be
you.
able mindset on how they go about. We know their mindset, so it is easier for us to comprehend what they are thinking.
So we spoke about your experience of being a part of the program and what all you learned. You spoke about prioritizing and communication, and the way you learn working with the team. So by the end of 11th, you completed the whole program, and then you know we get this new news that you just got into the humanities department. So, and it's a hard thing to crack. How did you kind of prepared for it? How did the mindset shift you saw? How did that help you in this examination?
So the first thing is that I had a positive attitude throughout my preparation. So I didn't think of giving up anywhere at any point because I knew how bad I wanted it. So I wanted it so bad, and if I can say, I used to, imagine scenarios inside my head, like I'm inside the IIT and all that. I used to do that. So I wanted it so bad. So I didn't get that giving up attitude. So as on how involved helped me, uh, as I said, I started planning things. So in the lockdown, I prepared, very much in the lockdown. So when things are not going right around you, when you know everyone was telling me that there are only 52 seats, the chances are very less, and how are you going to do it? Everyone asked the same question. Everyone was asking me that. So but I had this thing in mind, I'm going to work for myself. I have to do it because I want it. And I started planning things. I want, I fixed deadlines, like I should finish the syllabus in this time, I should start revising in this time, I should give tests, mock tests on these dates. So I had a schedule on my own, and I worked to finish that. I know there were some instances where I was not able to finish it, but mostly I work towards my schedule. It is easy when you um, split your goal into smaller tasks. It becomes easy. This is one thing I learned from Involve. So your goal, it is very big, but what you're going to do daily to achieve that goal, it is a very small amount. So if you are able to do something daily, you'll be you'll be able to achieve it. So that is one thing. And I was organized also. I knew what I should do at this time, I knew what I should do at that time.
Now that you have been like you have kind of got into what's your plan ahead, what are you thinking of doing going forward?
So as of now, for the next 5 years, I'll be in college. So after that, I'm thinking of giving UPSC exams. I've had that in my mind from a very young age.
Talking about UPSC, so um, I mean, you will be in a position of responsibility again over there, and you will have power to change a lot of things. So, if I ask you right now, what would be the two things you would want to change around you? What would that be, and why?
I've always thought about this. So I would change the education system in such a way that it prepares us to face the reality rather than like sticking to the books and mugging up things and getting marks. So I'd go with that way. So that is one thing that I'd like to change. And the next one is you know the representation of women. So this has been with me since a long time. um, like I've seen how women are represented. So the percentage of women who come out of the shell and work or pursue their dreams or anything. So that mentality or that state of the society, I'd like to change that.
I just want to get into a little bit of the why aspect of things. So why would you want why do you think it's important to have a shift in the education where we focus a little more on skill based education?
When I finished 10th, my no one has taken commerce. I took commerce in my commerce stream in my 11th and 12th. When I took commerce, people really doubted my decision. They were like, uh, you study well, why should you take commerce? You could take science and you could do whatever you want. So that is one thing that has stuck with them. So no, they think that some things are inferior to other things. So that is one thing. And also, like, they started talking about the marks that I got also. They were like, you got this much marks, why should you take commerce? So at that point I was not able to understand what is the connection between the marks and the stream that I'm going to choose. I want to take that stream because I like it, or I want to go that way. So that's when I understood, like, people are more inclined towards uh, these subjects and their marks more than what we actually have, the type of skill that we actually have. So no, and after that also, when I finished my 12th also, everyone were like, you got this much mark. Why? It was not very low. It was not very low and all. It was no around 89% something. But they were like, you have the capability of getting 90%. Why didn't you get 90%? So now they start branding us in such a way. It has become, and the comparison that comes up with that, they got this mark, they got this mark. Why didn't you get? So the type of comparison that we had to go through, it kind of suppresses us. So why must we stress so much on that marks? When, and okay, let's take a person with he scores 95% marks. When he goes to a new atmosphere where he has to mingle with a lot of people, or when he has to work in a different atmosphere, he's not able to do that. He has brains, we can't, he got this much marks. So at that point, will they say he got 95%, so why can't he come, why can't he handle this situation? They're not going to talk about that at that point. At that point, what really is needed is to be able to handle that situation. So I think we should be more inclined to teaching students situations that they have to face and things that they have to do.
Great point. Very good points, I would say. How can students, what actions can students start doing from today itself to learn all of these skills, adaptability, resilience, prioritizing all of that point?
So first thing, the students must take responsibilities. So the students must take responsibilities. They must start taking responsibilities. So let me, like, my atmosphere, my home atmosphere, my mom and dad were working. So both are working. So I had this extra responsibility of taking care of my brother also. His studies in the evening, all those small things, and helping in the home also. So when you have to multitask, like when you have to do all these things, you have to prioritize what you have to do first. Like when you start inculcating that habit, the flow becomes more easier. The flow, like on how you have to go about with certain things, it becomes easier. So when you, that is a small example. So like that, when you go outside, when you have 4 or 5 things to do at a time, when you are, like, say if you go to college and you have this, you are in this club and you have to do this, and you have your internals and you have to do this, and you have all these things at the same time, you'll be in a position to you know put the first things first and plan your day accordingly. So I think students must start planning the first thing.
Once this video goes out, there'll be a lot of people watching this. Like, there'll be students of your age, a lot of teachers, a lot of parents. So a wide variety of people will be watching you. So would you, if given a chance, like, would you like to give any advice, suggestions, or any, you would want to talk about any learnings you had, like which section of people you would want to say these things to, and what would be those things?
So, as I am a student now, I'll confine to people who are younger to me. One thing that I would like to tell students, or like who are in the process of becoming something or preparing for something and all that, like, believe in yourself. Because like if I had that thought in my mind, like if I was like I won't be able to do this, and there would be a lot of competition and all that. If I brought all those things into my head, I wouldn't probably have cracked the exam. So, or been in this institution, you can say. So I was like, I was strong with my decision, and I knew like I wanted to do this, and I will be able to do this. So that was one thing that kept me going. You keep going, like no matter what others are going to say, others are going to stop you and all that, but you should keep going. Believe in yourself.
Okay, I think this whole These three words, believe in yourself, is something which is very powerful. Once you start believing in yourself, you can do wonders. So I think that was it. Obviously, from our last conversation was pretty fab. Like, I was doing the editing yesterday, and it was great to listen to the things you were talking about. So that was great. And then, suddenly the light went off, and then we could not connect further. So it's great to again hear you today. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All the best for your future.